Where are GitHub Copilot's log files for debugging? Imagine trying to fix a tricky puzzle and not knowing where the pieces are stored. That's what debugging GitHub Copilot can feel like without the right info. If you want to troubleshoot Copilot effectively, knowing where its log files are kept is key. Let's walk through the different places you can find these logs depending on how you're using Copilot. First, if you're working within Visual Studio Code, the most popular code editor for Copilot, the log files are stored in the standard log directory used by Visual Studio Code for its extensions. You can access these logs directly from within Visual Studio Code by opening the command palette. Just type in the command to set the log level to trace for detailed logs. Once you do that, go to the output panel and select either GitHub Copilot or GitHub Copilot Chat from the drop-down menu. This will show you detailed logs about how Copilot is functioning, including suggestions and network activity. If you're troubleshooting network issues, there's also a command in the command palette that opens a diagnostics tab showing network connectivity logs. Now, if you're developing or debugging a custom GitHub Copilot extension, the process is a little different. You will need to use a command line debug tool designed for this purpose. This tool requires you to input the URL of your Copilot agent and, if needed, a token to authenticate. You can also set the log level to debug, none, or trace to control how much information is recorded. The logs generated by this tool give you detailed insights into how your custom extension processes, requests, and generates responses, which is super helpful when you're trying to troubleshoot or improve your extension. For those using the chat feature within Visual Studio Code, there is a dedicated debug view called the Chat Debug View. This view provides a transparent look at what requests are being sent to the AI and what responses are coming back. It shows the prompts you send and the context Copilot uses to generate suggestions. This can be a real eye-opener when you're trying to understand why Copilot suggests certain code snippets or why it might be misinterpreting your requests. If you're working on debugging workflows or automations that involve GitHub Actions, the logs are stored in the workflow run's log archive on GitHub itself. These include detailed logs from the runner processes and worker processes that execute your jobs. While these aren't directly Copilot logs, they can be invaluable for understanding how Copilot's suggestions fit into your overall automation and CI/CD pipeline. In practical terms, when you're coding with Copilot in Visual Studio Code, setting the log level to trace and reviewing the output panel logs is a good first step. If you're developing custom extensions, running the command line debug tool with the right flags will give you the detailed info you need. And for workflow troubleshooting, combining the insights from GitHub's workflow logs with Copilot's suggestions can speed up fixing issues. To sum up, the main places to find Copilot's logs are within Visual Studio Code's output channels for the standard extension, command line tools for custom extensions, and the GitHub workflow logs for pipeline issues. Knowing where these logs are stored helps you understand what Copilot is doing behind the scenes and makes troubleshooting much easier. Whether you're fixing suggestions, checking connectivity, or developing your own Copilot extension, these logs are your window into Copilot's inner workings.